Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for A Great Big Bunch of You, released in 1932. It's the 44th in the series and it's directed by Rudolph Ising. Since I recorded the commentary last time, there's been a beautiful HBO Max restoration, which I'll be using in this video. Now, in case you haven't seen this one, it's very straightforward. You've got a whole bunch of rubbish being put in the city dump, including a mannequin who ends up going to play some music on a makeshift piano, and all the other junk in this city dump starts playing along, and that's pretty much it.
A little walk, a little park, a little bench, a little dark, a little who's this, a little what's this, and a great big bunch of you.
So first up, what you're going to see is a remix of an audio commentary I did before I had to take it down due to a request by Warner Brothers Legal. After that, you'll hear some new thoughts from me on this cartoon, especially now that we've got a beautiful new restoration. And my good friend Manny Cruz, the toony tenor himself, will be on hand to discuss the music in this short. So grab some popcorn and enjoy. The good old chamber pot. I mean, what would an early Looney Tunes be without a chamber pot, right? Gotta have some sort of chamber pot gag. But I do like the fact that rather than sitting at the piano, see an earlier, say, Bosco short, we'll just have him sitting there and the piano would magically just work. No, they go the one extra step here. They add that, and not only does it work, but it's properly tuned as well. Who needs a piano tuner, right, folks? Now, he does a caricature here of, I believe, Maurice Chevalier. I believe I'm right there. He's probably best known as the guy who sings the title song of the Disney's Aristocats. Of course, Grandfather Clock. Another dad joke, right? Ha ha ha. I mean, just because you're in a dump, that doesn't mean you can't have fun, right? Where's the water coming from for that? So, yeah, a great big bunch of you. Well, it is what it is. Is everybody happy? Well, I am, because I finished this commentary. Wow, I really didn't have too much to say about this one originally, but that's okay, because the print I was using was absolutely awful, and now I can actually see some of the details a lot better, and this would have been an easy re-edit for Blue Genocide, so I'm sure he was happy. In any case, while Manny Cruz will get into the music, I will point out that I really do love this song. In fact, I think it's one of the better songs that was used during the harmonizing Merry Melodies period. It's just a catchy song and makes this short at least bearable to listen to. Well, here's another dad joke for you with all the shoe tongues. I just love laughing at stupid things like that, but whatever. I'll like what I like, thank you very much. That's so dumb. I will say, looking at this short, it really feels more like a 1930 short rather than 1932, where there would be a lot of shorts with objects coming to life to the music, and that's pretty much it, with no actual story, and that's exactly what this reminds me of. And how many times are we going to see this mannequin do that shuffle, by the way? Because that shuffle animation is used a few times in this short. But for what it is, it's fun. And what's this? Repeated animation from another short? In a harmonizing short? Get out of here, that never happens. No, the original animation for this was in Goopy Gear, as you can see in the bottom corner there. Interesting how our main character starts off with having a mustache, and somehow he shaves it because later on he's got no mustache, so, well, so much for consistency. Now the saying at the end, "Is everybody happy?" that comes from Ted Lewis, who was a musician, and he would say that to the audience. And now, speaking of music, over to you, Manny Cruz, the toony tenor.
Hi everyone, this is Manny Cruz, the toony tenor, coming at you with my thoughts and Manny's music time for the 1932 Merry Melody, A Great Big Bunch of You, directed by Rudolph Ising. So to start off, let's talk a little bit about the cartoon itself. So as I've mentioned before, I've been doing a chronological viewing of every single Looney Tunes Merry Melody in order, and I've been doing it for 4 years, and I'm still in the process. Anthony's way ahead of me when it comes to this endeavor. The last time I saw this cartoon was August 27th, 2018. So what's interesting about this cartoon, the very beginning, is that you hear the song, The Old Gray Mare. And of course, wow, look how fast it is. This is my first Simpsons reference. I think of the episode Krusty gets canceled with Crazy Old Man. The old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. Ain't what... So, I cannot think of that song without thinking of that.
Old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be.
So what kind of weirds me out in the beginning too is that you see all the rubbish just being dumped off in the city dump, and I see like a lot of bottles and cans, and growing up as a kid in the 90s and 2000s, hearing about recycling and all that other stuff, it's weird to see like the pre-recycling days, so to speak. The mannequin that gets dumped and is the main character of this cartoon, price on the mannequin was $5.98 in 1932, and I checked for inflation. It is now $127.59. The shuffle dance that the mannequin does a few times in the cartoon, this little dance routine he does where he steps back and forth and he leans and slides to the side, I remember it more vividly in possibly my favorite Bosco cartoon, Bosco in Person, where Bosco does the same thing. So, reuse of animation. Shocker. You see an imitation of Maurice Chevalier in this cartoon from the mannequin. You see a little cameo from the RCA Victor dog. Also, the mannequin does an impression of Ted Lewis, who's been mimicked in other Warner Brothers cartoons. One that comes to mind, I believe, is Speaking of the Weather from Frank Tashlin in 1937. Is everybody happy? The scene where the toy soldiers start marching and shooting at the targets, and eventually they shoot the boat that had George Washington crossing the Delaware River. You hear the patriotic song, Yankee Doodle. And then later on in the cartoon, you also hear the song Happy Days Are Here Again in the part near the end of the short. And what's interesting is that this cartoon has a brief sound effect of a toilet flushing. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect to hear that, you know. But then I remember this is a cartoon that was pre-code, before the Hays Office and the Hays Code really started cracking down around 1933, 1934. Every time the tempo of the song increases, the conflict comes in. And I haven't seen this cartoon in 4 years. I'm like, where's the conflict? Where's the conflict? Oh, it's at the very end. Garbage gets dumped on his head. He imitates Ted Lewis again. Whoop-de-doo. Drama is over. And yeah, so not much to say about the cartoon itself. The music's cute. It's interesting how they changed up the tempo and the voices. Little stylistic changes to the primary song itself, but nothing really home to write home about. 5 out of 10. Meh. Just like, I wish I had wings. Now, here's another edition of, drumroll please, it's time for Manny's Music Time with music trivia for you today. So, we got a lot to talk about when it comes to the music of this particular cartoon. Once again, I want to thank James Parton for helping me with this research. Check out Cartoon Research. There's a lot of stuff there. So this song from 1932 was recorded several times in both the United Kingdom and the United States. A vocal version was recorded by Cliff Edwards, also known as Ukulele Ike, and he was accompanied by a studio band called the Californians from Brunswick Records. Weckeds, now I'm thinking of Elmer Fudd. That's a few years from now. What's interesting, for those of you that are animation geeks, is Cliff Edwards. That name should sound familiar. If you fast forward a few years in the future to 1940, he is the voice of Jiminy Cricket and the man who sings When You Wish Upon a Star, probably the most famous song to ever come from a Disney animated film. So the composer of this song is a very, very prominent composer in both film history and also the history of the Warner Brothers studio. Carl Stalling, Frank Marsalis, Norman Spencer, Bernard Brown really like to pull the music from this particular composer. So who is Harry Warren? Harry Warren, his original name, he was born as Salvatore Antonio Guaragna. Hopefully my Italian is not that rusty. And he was born in Brooklyn, New York on Christmas Eve, 1893. For those of you that are history buffs out there, Brooklyn, New York was originally a separate city, and then in 1898 it merged with Manhattan to form New York City, and eventually the 5 boroughs were made: Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island. You get the point. I always repeat the boroughs. Yeah, so look it up. My hometown is literally across the bridge from Staten Island, the Forgotten Borough. So he was the son of Italian immigrants, and he was the 11th of 12 kids. When he was young, his father changed his last name to Warren. Warren was self-taught in various instruments, especially the piano and the accordion. He quit school when he was 15, and he started working as a drummer, and he started working with various carnival shows. He was a stagehand at vaudeville shows, and he started becoming a piano player for Vitagraph Studios, which later has a history with Warner Brothers. He served in the United States Navy during World War I, and around that time he started to compose music. He is considered to be the first major American songwriter who worked primarily in film. Over 300 films have featured the music of Warren, and he's worked with a variety of lyricists including Al Dubin, Johnny Mercer, Al Jolson, and Mort Dixon, and I'll talk a little bit more about Mort, who was the lyricist for this particular song. Warren is an 11-time Academy Award nominee for Best Original Song, and he won 3 times. And one of the Academy Award winners is a song that you've definitely heard in Warner Brothers cartoons. His music has been featured in 112 Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons. And here are just some of those songs. They might sound familiar to you. I Only Have Eyes for You, September in the Rain, Would You Like to Take a Walk, You Must Have Been a Beautiful Baby, Jeepers Creepers, The Gold Diggers Song, We're in the Money, Chattanooga Choo Choo, the song 42nd Street, which was also a 1933 musical film that was directed by Busby Berkeley, and it became a huge hit, and also Page Miss Glory. So yes, you're definitely going to hear his name brought up in many, many Warner Brothers cartoons. Warren's songs have been performed by many famous singers, including Dean Martin, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, Duke Ellington, Josephine Baker, Al Jolson, Dizzy Gillespie, Ray Charles, Glenn Miller, Etta James, Mel Torme, and the list goes on. Warren was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame on his 80th birthday in 1971, and he passed away September 22nd, 1981, just a few months shy of his 90th birthday. Now, let's talk a little bit about Mort Dixon. Mort Dixon was born in New York City, Manhattan, on March 20th, 1892. He also served in the military during World War I, but he was in the Army. And after the war, he was a vaudeville actor, and he contributed scores to various Broadway productions. He also wrote some scores for film, including Flirtation Walk, which was later adapted into a merry melody, A Long Flirtation Walk. Some of the lyrics that Mort has written that have been used in Warner Brothers cartoons include Nagasaki, I'm Looking Over a Four-Leaf Clover, Pop Goes Your Heart, Mr. and Mrs. is the Name, The Lady in Red, and Would You Like to Take a Walk. He's written the lyrics for many other songs, but those, again, should pop up or become familiar to those of you that are fans of Warner Brothers cartoons. And he passed away on March 23rd, 1956 in Bronxville, New York. So with this particular cartoon, not really much to write home about, but I've heard Harry Warren's name before, and it was intriguing to dig into more of his history. And that's when I realized, oh wow, he wrote a way more than I remembered. And like I said, I've seen his name pop up before, but it's like, wow, he is much, much bigger than I thought. So those were my thoughts and Manny's Music Time for a great big bunch of you. Thank you very much for listening to me and for listening to Anthony. Thank you for all the support. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And that's all, folks. I'm trying to imitate the mannequin. I hope it was good enough. If you like it, great. We'll work with it. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, Manny, and be sure to follow him on Instagram at the2dtenor. As for my rating, I wholeheartedly agree with him. 5 out of 10 for me. It's a great song. There are a few nice little bits here and there, but ultimately, very forgettable. Not really much to this one, but it's not the worst way to spend a couple of minutes anyway. So with that, oh wait, this one's also in the public domain. How about that? Alright, if you want to submit yourself to a bit of torture, well, you can watch the full cartoon right now. So grab some popcorn and, well, try and enjoy. But hey, at least the music's great.
little walk, a little talk, a little bench, a little dark, a little who's this, a little what's this, and a great big bunch of you. Wita, wita. A little kiss, a little sigh, a little when, a little why, a little who's this, a little what's this, and a great big bunch of you. I'm like a robin in the spring that wants to sing all day. I'll pawn my watch and everything if you'll agree to what I say. A little house, a little lot. What have we got? Well, you know what. A little who's this, a little what's this, and a great big bunch of you. Little house, a little lot. What have we got? Oh, well, you know what. A little who's this, a little what's this, and a great big bunch of you. Here's everybody happy. Yes, sir. America!
A little park, a little bench, a little dark, a little who's this, a little what's this, and a great big bunch of you.
Bum 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 bum.
A little kiss, a little sigh, a little when, a little why, a little who's this, a little what's this, and what-a-da-da do. I'm like a robin in the spring that wants to sing all day. I'll pawn my watch and everything, what-a-da-do. A little house, a little lot, what have you got? Well, you know what? A little who's this, a little what's this, and you.
Oh, what's this? A great big bunch of you. Here's everybody happy.